שלום רב, כאן איריס לקנר, האוצרת והמנהלת של פסטיבל הקולנוע הרומני בישראל, ואני כאן בשיחה עם הבימאי מריאן קרישן לכבוד מהדורת 2025. זו לא פעם ראשונה שאנחנו מארחים סרט של מר קרישן בפסטיבל. ראינו סרט שלו שנקרא ברלינר לפני 3 שנים, ועכשיו אנחנו עם הסרט וורבוי, שיוקרן פעמיים בחודש מאי בסינמטקים, ופעמיים בחודש יוני. אז שימו לב לפרסומים. ונעבור עכשיו לרעיון. Good evening, Mr. Krishan.
Good evening.
I'm very glad, as I just said to our audience, to have your movie already, a second time a movie of yours in our festival. The previous was Berliner 3 years ago, and now it is Warboy, a beautiful movie, your fifth feature, right?
Yes.
And I want to ask you, it is very, very different from the movies you've done before. What was the inspiration for this one in particular?
Every movie is different for me, and every movie starts from a strong impression or strong memory or image. So every film that I make, I want to be personal. I want to be intimate. So this story comes from the memories of my grandfather, who was a teenager at the end of World War II. So he was a teenager, and he, in the last years of his life, remembered these times when he was young. He was teenager, 15 years old, and lived in the mountains. He was a servant for a rich man in the village, and he had to keep the horses in the forest, so the Russian soldiers will not take them. This was 1945. So these memories of my grandfather being a teenager in the wartime, but not in the war actually, but
During
somewhere,
the period.
somewhere, yeah, far from the front, home. His father died. He was an orphan, and a lot of young people were fighting the Russians in the first years of war. So he felt the war differently, and I want to tell a different story of war, not with soldiers battling, but with the families left home, the children, the mothers, the old ones, and the animals, the horses. In this film, the relation between the kid and the horses is very important. So I wanted to make a different kind of war film, uh, film about a boy growing up during those times, and wanting to save the family horses. So this started like this, from these memories. This is not biography of my grandfather, but started with this powerful image of him alone in the woods during war. So I imagine a film, a
A good
story.
starting point, and then you actually wrote the script. This,
Yes, it took some time, but I wanted to be, so to say, epic. I wanted to have a range, to have big landscapes, to have this horse riding on a big scenery.
you
Um,
succeeded. The first time I saw your
yeah,
movie,
because
it was breathtaking. The beauty, the visuality of the movie is absolutely beautiful.
it's like you immerse in this forest, in these mountains, and the beauty of the nature. I It's in contrast with the times. I wanted to
Exactly.
show that nature is quite beautiful even in war. So nature is bigger than anything. I wrote a script that is a fiction, is a kind of a fable, because this boy starts his journey in the mountains wanting to take the horses to his uncle, and he meets all the soldiers involved in the war. He meets the Germans, he meets an American, it's like in a fairy tale. He meets the monsters, so to say. He meets them, and he has to grow up to be more of a man in the end. He's
It's actually a
changing.
story of coming of age story.
Also,
Uh,
yeah, you can call it
with
a coming of age.
adventures. And I would like to say to our audience, because for us, World War II has a whole different
Of course.
perspective and association. So the movie is called Warboy. It happens during 1944. You don't see the battle,
Yeah.
and you see soldiers. There is no Holocaust in the story. It is important to mention it to our audience.
Yes,
It's something that happens in the rural area for a certain boy that needs to save something from home, in this case, the horses, and a coming of age story in a very difficult time. And you just mentioned the view. I thought about it so many times that in so many beautiful places in the world, horrible things happened. So unfortunately, the nature, the beautiful nature, doesn't always affect for the good
yeah.
the people, because people act as they do. So back to your story, after this was very important to say to our audience. Um, how did you actually pick the specific locations? What were your difficulties, or maybe um, was it the same as where your grandfather lived? Did you pick something else?
Oh, actually, it was not in my grandfather's village because he's from Moldova. He was
Okay.
from Moldova, and we have relatives there, still have the. But I shot in the West Romania, where I shot all the films because I know better the places. And actually, what was important for us was to find a place where you can find these old shacks, old home houses, wooden
So
houses.
you won't have to rebuild it all over again.
Yeah, to rebuild it all. We rebuilt some, but in the beginning, when you see the village, that is a real kind of a summer village for the shepherds. So we rebuild it and put roofs because the roofs now are from plastic or from metal. We made the roofs out of wood, and we yeah, of course have all the costumes and all the objects, props to make that time, and that is difficult. And I
So it
found
was
this place.
challenging after all.
It was really challenging. It was maybe the most challenging film for me to date because it's a period piece. It's 1945. I have a lot of soldier characters with different uniforms, and most of all, the difficulty in the shooting with horses and a child. They say you never you never want to shoot with animals and children, but this
Well,
is
you
with
had
both.
them both.
Yeah, but it was fun because the kid was great. The kid came to casting when he was 12. Daniel was 12 when we started casting. Then the pandemic come, and we had to shoot it in 2022. So he shot the film when he was 15. But he was great, and he waited, and we do a lot of tests with him. So and of course the team with the horses, him and the horses are a team, and his father was a manager of the horses. So
Okay.
we work together because when you do a film like this, you need a good communication between the horse and the rider, and with the team. So it's quite difficult, and also having all the team and the actors up on the mountains, it's not easy, of course.
I understand. So let's talk a bit more about the casting. You said you had a lot of young people to see for the role. And what about the American guy? How does he come into the story? Because I guess this was not at your grandfather's story at the
No,
time.
no, this is totally fictional. And as I said, I imagine a story to be a journey, and for the kid to meet the war through the soldiers. And
Okay.
I read a lot about those times, and there are not too many films or novels about that period, I think, and that is not enough. I mean, we could have more written about that period. And I found out about a lot of stories of American pilots who were shot down during 1943, 1944 by the Romanians and the Germans, and they were captive. They were prisoners of war during the 44, 45. Actually, in 44, when we changed sides and Americans came in Romania, there were more than 1,000 American pilots, uh, prisoners of war. So there were a lot of stories of villagers
That
finding.
are not being told.
Yeah, they
This
are
is
not being
something not
told.
familiar with.
Yeah, but this is true, and there are some good historical books written now about them, and they came to Romania. There are documentaries about them. All the pilots coming back and saying, "Yeah, we were here. We dropped on that. We were shot down on that hill, and some villagers took us." Very interesting side of the World War II that we don't know. And I say, yeah, this is a character that I want to bring on screen, an American, because I think if we look at all the Romanian films about World War II, there is not a film with an American character.
Well, there's
Uh,
always the first time, and here it is.
yeah, so there is space. But yeah, we work very well with Reginald. Reginald Amos is a not really a star. He's a actor that played in some parts before, some independent films. But he was perfect for the role because
How did
he's
you find him? I mean, of all
actually,
people.
we had more options. We had three options. One was an actor from New York. One was an actor in Paris, living in Paris, and but there was problems with the budget because we couldn't afford the salary of the American actor from New York, and we couldn't do tests because it was the pandemic. And we started to look other ways, and we said with the casting, we said let's look in Eastern Europe. There should be an American actor here living in Prague or in Budapest or in Bucharest. So actually, after 2 or 3 months, some other casting agent called us and they say there is an American actor in Bucharest that just tested for a cowboy in a series here in Romania. You should
Okay.
see the guy. I say,
Okay.
okay, that's great. And he came, Reginald came. He was
He's
like
actually
really.
a great casting for your movie.
Yeah, and he said, "Yeah, I can shoot. I can shoot a gun. I can ride a horse. I can whatever you want. I can do." And he looked really American. He had the accent. He had everything. So yeah. He started to do tests with the kid, and then we decided he's the American. So it was a chance, a fortunate chance that we met him after the pandemic because. It helped a lot because he's really into the role.
I want to mention two things. The first, when you said about things people don't know yet or enough about World War II, other aspects of it in Romania and at all, I would like to emphasize that in our festival, we have another movie that is called The King's War. In America, it was called The King Who Tricked Hitler. And it's a documentary about Mihai I, the King of Romania, and his very special contribution to the war. So I recommend our viewers to watch a beautiful movie. And also, if you want more information to know about things that are not familiar, we have another one, which is a documentary in the festival. Now, taking back to your American, I think it relates a bit to something you love personally because you love Westerns and you
Yeah.
admire American photography. So all this came together, I think, just fine for you.
Yeah, it was yeah coming together. And when I decided, yeah, I will make this American pilot the sidekick, the friend of the kid, for the journey because it's symbolic. This American coming to
Yeah.
save,
Hmm.
and then it became more of a Western because I wanted to have this Western look. Because the horses, because of the journey, because of the landscape. From the beginning, I wanted to be epic. I wanted to have this kind of look, and we shot it with special lenses, especially to have this large, yeah, cinemascope view, and uh, that is also a genre element that I wanted to have this Western and war in the same film.
And
Mm.
after all, you actually define it beside of coming of age and adventure and a bit of Western aspects. Do you think it's a movie for the whole family to see?
Yes, I believe it's for the whole family, and we have, for example, here in Bucharest and in the country, a lot of screening for the high school for teenagers, like from the eighth grade on, and we had a really good, yeah, Q&As and reactions from the young people because uh, they liked the character, they liked the boy, they connected with the boy, and yeah, and they imagine, wow, look how yeah, the teenagers were. I mean, they had no telephone, no TV, no internet, uh, no shoes, no nothing. They had horses and they worked from a young age, and they were yeah, having a totally different life than that we have now.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, it's
interesting for
for, I
them.
think it's for the whole family. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice perspective. And if you mentioned that you showed it to pupils in schools, how did the Romanian audience receive the movie? The whole audience.
It was a good reception. We are not yeah, blockbuster. We don't have stars, but it was a good receiving of the film, a reception of the film. Um, it is a thing also about history that touched people. That, as I said, there are things that we don't have enough films, uh, and a lot of films don't go to the period because we have budgets that don't allow us to go to big budgets. This was a bigger budget than usual, but the trick was here that I wanted to make a film that was a low budget war film. So you will see a film that is not with thousands of soldiers and battles, but has the tension of war around the kid. And I knew that I can make a war film like this. I couldn't have done a bigger budget. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard, but
Did you
this is
use the local people from the village you did find in the movie?
yes. Usually, I work also with amateurs and with faces with people in those parts, and they are mainly the special extras, the episodic parts. They are locals, but also the other actors around the main characters are mainly from theater from Oradea, Cluj, Arad, from West Romania. That I worked from the first film that I did. We worked together when yeah, we collaborate pretty well because I want that feeling that is from the West Romania, the
To be
talking, the
authentic, yes.
to be authentic, and I wanted that in the older film because every character comes with his language, and also this is about language because this kid doesn't understand the soldiers. The German soldiers speak German, the Russians speak Russian, the American speaks English, of course, but nobody seems to understand each other. And this is a thing about war. The first thing about war is that the people doesn't understand each other. They don't understand each other. They cannot communicate. And
Yes,
this is
and
also
something that brings them together many times, this time were the animals, the
yeah,
horse. We
that
also
cannot.
have other movies that we I think the audience know if it's Steven Spielberg's movie and if it's New Year's, some movies that somewhere in the story, the element of a creature that we care about, such as a horse, which is an amazing animal, that brings people together sometimes. And here it was
Yeah.
kind of the beginning of a relationship that was really interesting.
So yeah, that is interesting how horses are really sensitive about everything. They sense it that we are doing something with them that is important, because they started to work together with us, and during the shoot we felt that they were not afraid of us, and we were not afraid of them. In the beginning, in the first days, everybody was careful not to go too near, or not to disturb them, and they were a bit nervous. But after some days, they started to feel good. They were in a program. They came to the shooting, and they make a good team. But in the film, dramatically, they are very important, because they are the connection between the son, the boy, and his father, who left to the war. So the boy says that he hopes his father will be back, and
Returns.
they can work with the horses. So this
Yes.
connection with the horse, they are very important. So that triggers the story. That triggers the everything, that he wants to keep these horses, and he wants, of course, his
They
father
are
to be
of great
back.
significance to him.
Yes, and that's why he journeys to save them somehow, and to he hides in the woods, so to say.
Yes. Was it the first movie for the boy?
Yes, it's his
Debut.
first. It's his first film and debut, and he got a national prize for a young actor at the
Okay.
Cinema Union in Romania. But he doesn't really know if he wanna do acting or riding, because he's really a champion riding. Now he rides for the national team, this kind of a marathon riding, endurance. That's riding for 100 kilometers. It's really hard. He is one of the few teenagers in the national team. So
Wow.
he he really likes riding, and he grew up on horse, so to say. That's
Okay.
why he's in the film.
Okay. Um, let's talk a bit about the Aposan Mountains. The look, the shooting is so beautiful, and it seems for a moment that they are a character themselves, the mountains that are still, but they can talk. They can say a lot even when they actually don't.
Yeah.
Did you feel this way? Did you have a special perspective on how to shoot? Did you use any special cameras to have that beautiful view?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they say that the forest is brother with the Romanian.
Mhm.
So to say, this is a kind of old saying that
Yeah.
we are brothers, the Romanians and the forest. And this is you feel this somehow in the film, that all these characters are moving in the forest, on the mountain, trying to hide. So the nature helps them. So the nature gives them berries and food. The nature gives them grass for the horses, water. So the nature is very important in real life, and this in this film also is very, very important. And we capture this through, as I said, with panoramic lenses, cinemascope lenses that capture a wider space than usual lenses. And we also had a lot of equipment for moving the camera together with the horses, immersing into the forest. So you
Okay.
can feel that you go into the forest at the step of the horse. Together, the camera moves with the horses, and we imagine we stayed there for a month after the pandemic. We were in the mountains. It was fresh air. It was beautiful summer, and we were like wanting to stay only outside, even in the night. We could stay outside after staying in house in indoor for 2 years with the pandemic and only in the block in Bucharest. And there it was amazing. It was like yeah,
Feel of freedom.
heaven. And we
Yeah.
captured this on screen, and we imagine that we talk with the people there, and they remember, all people remember the war, and their grandparents told them about the war, and they told us that place was the place where the German passed or the Russian came. And we stayed there, and we reflected that we shot in a place where actual soldiers
We're
during
there.
the World War II passed to those forests. And we are now in the same forest, and the forest is the same.
Yeah.
Those are
Someone
secular.
else is changing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
soldiers are changing, but the forest is the same, and is strong. And these trees that are 100 years old were there during the World War
Beautiful.
II.
Absolutely beautiful. Do you feel that in this perspective, you kind of made a closure with your grandfather or personally with the story of the family in a
Yes,
way?
it stayed with me for. I started this in 2017.
Wow.
My father, my grandfather died in 2018, and he I made a film after 4 years. So it was in my heart, of course, and I talked with him, and we joked when we talked about it. I said, "Yeah, I will make a film about something about this era, because it's so interesting what you did. You stayed in the forest alone, only with the horses for weeks, with no food, no shoes, in the winter, to just to keep them from the Russians." And I didn't know exactly how the film will look, but I told him that, yeah, I will make it. And
So
yeah,
you kept your promise.
yeah, the film is yeah, in his memory, of course. And for me, the images, when the pure images of this boy riding alone in the woods with no story, those images are very important, because that is my grandfather.
Your grandfather.
Yeah, and the name is
Okay.
the same. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I think the outcome is beautiful. I hope that our audience will like it as well and learn something new, something else about Romania in different times, and to see another view that we didn't see so much in previous movies as well. The Apostle
Yeah.
movies, yes. And every time that I can bring something else from Romania that people didn't see it, I'm glad about it. And I'm glad that you gave me this chance this time. So I hope to see you in the next edition here.
Yeah,
That will
hopefully, yeah,
do you
we
have
will.
any next project that you can tell us something about it?
I cannot tell you too much, but yeah, I'm working on a new project, and it's also about a kid, and
Okay.
it's happening during Easter.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
be patient and wait. And
yeah,
we'll hope to see you here in one of our next editions. Thank you very
yeah.
much.
Good luck,
Thank
and
you,
enjoy.
ואני מזמינה אתכם לראות את הסרט וורבוי. צפייה מהנה ומושכלת.